Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bethany and welcome to my very positive induced birth vlog. Vlog? No. Story time. I wish I'd vlogged my birth. If I'm lucky enough to have another child, I will definitely be videoing that. I've watched so many of those videos on YouTube, it's ridiculous. I feel like I've just completed all the videos on YouTube. I also completely finished One Born Every Minute while I was pregnant with Rosie as well, so I love all things birth. I've watched so many of these story times as well, like birth stories, and yeah, I really wanted to tell my story. It is 15 months late. My daughter is now 15 months old. Her name's Rosie. But I just really wanted to share the story of how she was born, as it was so positive, and I feel like people like to talk about their negative experiences quite a lot, but I also wanted to share, especially the inductions, especially during COVID, I wanted to share like my really positive experience, and I've only got like positive emotions and feelings and everything surrounding it. Like, I wouldn't mind if I had to be induced again, put it that way. So as it was 15 months ago, I've had to go back over all of my birth notes. Like, we had a family group chat as well, where Matt, my boyfriend, was updating on my family. So thankfully he did loads of timings in there of what was happening when, so I've gone back over that, and I've basically made like loads of notes. So if you see me like glancing down, it's I am checking what happened. So yeah, I may as well just get started. Yeah, let's go. So through my pregnancy, as soon as they started like measuring my bump, Rosie, it went up and then down, up and then down. It was never like a straight line, as they like it to be on that graph, don't they? So I kept on having to go for growth scans, and I went in for a growth scan. I think it must have been about 38 weeks and 4 days. And I was essentially told that they think that my placenta is failing, and that they'd like to get me booked in for an induction on at 39 weeks, which was the Sunday, which was the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. Yay! Not exactly the sort of action you're expecting on Valentine's Day, is it? But anyway, that doesn't really matter. The day has a new special meaning for me, and Matt and I celebrated Valentine's Day the day before. So yeah, I agreed to the induction, as they're the professionals, or I trusted them, and I do still trust them, that it was the right thing to do. And it was also so placental, they were worried about the placenta failing and Rosie's growth. They thought that she would be small. Sorry, excuse me. So yeah, on the 14th of February, I'm scheduled to go in at 3 p.m. to start my induction. So I go in, I have a COVID test, all of that good stuff. And then Matt was unable to join me then. So I go in and do all that on my own, get settled into like the ward. It's like an induction ward. So I think there was four beds in there, and one of them was mine. And I just sort of unpacked a little bit, got comfy, and I was just waiting around. And then at 5 p.m. they came round and checked my cervix to see if I was dilated or not, because they offered different types of induction. So like there's the hormone induction, and then there's like, I can't remember what it's called, but like they put a balloon in your cervix if it's dilated enough, and they put a balloon in to encourage like contractions and further dilation. I wasn't, so I got the prostaglandin tablet inserted into my cervix, which I found fine. Obviously it was a bit uncomfortable, but you expect that. My midwife actually told me, I hope you've left your dignity at the door or something like that. I was a bit like, I still expect to be treated with dignity, but okay. Never mind. So yeah, that was in at 5 o'clock. Matt was then allowed in from 5 till 8. That was the visiting hours of the induction ward. And yeah, not much happened that night, to be quite honest. It was in, and not, I wouldn't even say contractions. They were just like tightening started every 10 minutes or so, I'd say. So I spent most of that evening just bouncing on the ball, watching something on my phone. After, obviously, and then that was after Matt left. And then I'd say, I think it was around midnight, I was struggling quite a bit. Like I wasn't really getting a break. They were like back to back, and they were fairly strong contractions. So I told one of the midwives, because they hadn't come and checked on me. I was like, guys, these are a bit sore. I'm not really getting much of a break. I'm not entirely sure what's happening. So they came round, they put me on the monitor for half an hour, and like 2 midwives then came in. They're like, oh yeah, you're not getting a break at all, are you? I was like, nope. I remember laying on the bed and I was like twiddling my feet. Like that's how for some reason when I was going through contractions, I would twiddle my feet like this, and it was like my way of coping. So they tried to slow it down by giving me pain relief. So I think they gave me paracetamol. And eventually they did slow down, because they were talking about taking out the tablet, but thankfully they didn't have to do that. They kept it in, and the contractions slowed down, thankfully, and I got some sleep. And then fast forward to the next day, which will be the 15th of February. I woke up and they were still there. They were still quite regular. I'd still say like 7 or 8 minutes apart. Like definitely nothing to like shout about. And then Matt was allowed back in. I can't remember the timings for these visits. I think he came back at around 1. I think his visiting time was 1 till 4 that day. It's only like a 3-hour slot every day, unfortunately. So yeah, he came back at 1 on the 15th, and the contractions were like really like manageable at this point, way better than they were the night before. And I was just walking around. And then at 2:30, I went to the toilet, went for a wee, and my waters broke during a contraction that was quite intense on the toilet. And from then, they got a lot more ouchy. Yeah, they did get a lot more like, and I started panicking, because I was like, oh my god, like Matt's gonna have to leave very soon, and I'm gonna have to do this on my own. And I didn't feel like I'd feel like that, but then it was like all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, I can't do this on my own. I don't want to do this on my own at all. And I'm sure like a lot of other women in labour feel like that. They don't want to be on their own. They want to be with their partner or their mum or their sister or their friends or whoever they want to be with. They want someone they know and not just be on their own. But yeah, thankfully at this point, like after the midwife change, I had the loveliest midwife. In fact, most of my midwives are all absolutely lovely, because I had a fair few. But this one, when my waters broke, she was so sweet, because I was like getting panicked about having to do all this on my own. She said that Matt could stay after the 4 o'clock point if we went into the bathroom and I had a bath, so it was like classed as like my own room. And then because she could see me going through these contractions, she thought that I might have been like either just about in active labour or in active labour, like she didn't quite know. But she thought she'd call the delivery suite anyway and let them know that my waters had broken and that my contractions were a lot more painful. And like I said, at this point I hadn't had any more pain relief at all. Apart from the bath was quite nice. And then, yeah, so we were in the bath for, I think it must have been about an hour, hour and a half. Did I write anything down for that? I don't think I did. Oh yeah, so I was examined. I moved up to the delivery suite, and then I was examined at 6 p.m. and I was only 2 to 3 centimeters. Hearing that, I was like, huh? What? Considering I'd been like contracting from 5 p.m. the previous day, basically like straight away after they put the tablet in. Oh, I forgot to say as well, actually, the tablet fell out after my waters broke as well. Within like 2 or 3 contractions after my water breaking, the tablet also fell out. So yeah, when she said 2 to 3 centimeters dilated, I was like, you are kidding. What? Obviously not this happy about it. And then, so, yeah, and then at 6:30, I then threw up from the pain and like, I think panicking again. I had tried in between this, when I got up to the delivery suite, I had tried gas and air and I absolutely hated it. It made me feel worse. It was just not good. And what I remember feeling at this point before I was sick was that I just could not find a comfortable position to labour in. Like I tried on my back, on my side, standing up, sitting down. I just could not find a place that was manageable. for the contractions. That's why I tried the gas and I was like, nope, it made me feel really spaced out, sicky and just horrible. So yeah, then I was sick at 6:30, and then I think that's when they gave me my first shot of diamorphine and like an anti-sickness drug as well. And then from then I definitely calmed down, and I think I laid on my right side. I remember I was laying on my right side and I could see Matt on a chair. Oh, I forgot to say Matt was allowed to stay with me this whole time from that point. Yeah, I could see him on a chair, and I remember looking through the bars that were on like the hospital bed, looking at Matt after every like contraction, like, what is this? What is this nonsense that's going on right now? So yeah, so I'm saying a lot of so's. I'm very sorry. I then wanted to try, I think, the bath. Yeah, I did, because I really wanted a water birth. I know early on in my pregnancy, I really wanted a home water birth, but that wasn't meant to be, so it doesn't matter. So I still wanted that water birth, so they let me go in the bath, and I had like the monitors on, because it was an induction, it had to be monitored the whole time, so I had the monitors on that were like portable, and you could go in the bath. It didn't have to be like hooked up to a bed, which was godsend. So yeah, I was in the bath for ages, absolute ages, and there's a point that I remember very clearly where Matt is holding my hand. I'm like reaching out the bath and he is holding my hand, and in the other hand he's playing, I think it's Football Manager. Right, I will say now, Matt was an angel. He was everything I needed him to be and more. I would not have been able to do it without him, but for some reason that moment stuck in my head, and he was just playing Football Manager, and I was like, what the hell? But no. So yeah, I was in the bath for ages, in and out the bath, like trying to get comfortable. At 10 o'clock they then checked me again, and I was 4 centimetres dilated. That was 10 p.m. on the 15th of February. I was 4 centimetres dilated, so officially in like established labour. But the fact that I'd got to that point and I was like, what the heck? Like, I'm still only 4 centimetres. And I just carried on going. I think, yeah, I was checked again at 7 centimetres. Nope. I was checked again at 1:20 in the morning, and I was 7 centimetres. Unfortunately, they had ran the birthing pool for me, but Rosie's heart rate kept dipping, so they didn't want me to, and that was when I was in the bath, so they didn't want me to be in the water anymore. And my midwives made the room so nice. Like, they dimmed the lights, they put on this like a light globe that like made it, I'm not explaining this very well, it was like starry and like changed colours, and it just was so relaxing. They had like the like natural oils or essential oils, whatever they're called, like just made the room so calm. And my midwife that I gave birth with was absolutely incredible. She was amazing. And my Matt, he also said that she was really, really, really good midwife. I will always remember her name, but obviously I won't say it, but I'll always remember her name. And there's also a student doctor there who, this was the first birth that she'd ever witnessed as well. And I remember, like, after giving birth to Rosie, I was like, I'm so sorry that was your first birth. She was like, no, it was amazing, I loved it. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's so sweet. So yeah, 7 centimetres at 1:20. I then had some more diamorphine. And at this point, things for me get really like loopy, because I try the gas and air again and I love it. Absolutely love it. And I was high as a kite, I think. Like, I remember picturing things. I remember picturing mirrors everywhere and them breaking with each contraction. It's really weird. And apparently I was also coming out with these strange things to Matt, saying like, have you put the shoes away? And other things like that, and getting annoyed at him. Honestly, I don't have a clue. I wish I was a fly on the wall during my own labour so I could know what it was like. I did actually end up laying basically on my back, a bit propped up slightly to the left. No idea how I ended up in that position. And I was also completely in starkers, completely naked, no clothing in sight. They put like sheets over me, but I just didn't want clothes on me at all. Like, I found them way too restricting. I booked. I brought with me like nighties and things like that to give birth in, but no, clothes were off. I didn't care. I walked around the room naked. Like, I feel like you just don't care in that sort of circumstance because they're already looking at, I think, is the most intimate part of you when you're giving birth. So you're like, well, whatever. You can see my boobs, you can see my back, you can see my bum. I don't really care. All you're focusing on is like getting your baby out. So yeah, I was picturing all these mirrors breaking, like I said. My mouth was so dry from the gas in there that between every contraction, Matt was bringing me water over, and I don't like water. I'll say this, I do not like water at all. Since my pregnancy, I was sick so much during my pregnancy with water that I now can't drink it. It makes me feel sick. But for some reason, during labour, water was a godsend. I forgot to mention actually as well, sorry, I know it's all over the place. Like I said, I'm trying to remember, but as I'm talking about it, more things are coming back to my memory. Only a short while, I think, only a couple of hours after I was first sick at 6:30, I tried a Lucozade Sport, one of those raspberry ones, which I normally love, but within a couple of minutes after having that, I was sick again. So I'm getting really hot talking about this. It's like I'm reliving it. My goodness. So yeah, I was sick again. I'd say probably around nine-ish. But that was it for being sick. I've forgotten where I was. Yes. So all I wanted in between each contraction after the gas and air was water. So Matt was bringing me over water between every single one. And I'll say as well, at this point, he was by my side the whole time, like holding my hand, because all I wanted him to do was hold my hand, and I was like rocking back and forth. My feet were going, and I was rocking back and forth with Matt, like just getting through these contractions. And I remember the reason they checked me at 1:20 in the morning was because I was saying that it felt like my body was pushing. I felt like I needed to push. And I was like, it's too early, please check me, I know it's too early, I don't want to like damage my body. And she was like, no, just go with it. I was like, no, I need you to check because I really don't feel like I'm 10 centimetres yet. And she checked and I was 7, she was like, yeah, don't push. I was like, okay, I knew it. And that is when I started picturing these mirrors cracking, or like, I think they were mirrors, yeah, they must have been mirrors cracking, because every time I had a contraction I was trying not to push, even though my body was just pushing. And yeah, that went on. I can't believe that went on for hours. And then they checked me again. I'm not sure at what point, but they checked me again, and I was 10 centimetres. And, because I haven't even written that down, that's not even on the thing that I looked at. But I started pushing, it must have been, because it says that the second stage of my labour, which was the pushing stage, was 1 hour and 20 minutes. So I must have started pushing. I'm not very good at maths. Let's go backwards. 5:45. At about 5:30, just before 5:30, I started actively pushing then. And I was pushing for 1 hour and 20 minutes. So, and it didn't feel like I was pushing for that long. It felt like a lot longer because, like I said, my body was pushing since I was 7 centimetres at 1:20 in the morning. And she was delivered at 6:45. And it was the most magical experience. Just before she was born, I remember my midwife, she came over and she had got Rosie's first little hat, brought it over to me, and her little, like the tag that goes around their little ankle. She brought it over to me. She was like, your little girl is going to be in this. You've got to do it. You're so close. And it was so sweet. It was so sweet. And it like really like spurred me on. I was also very sleepy during the pushing stage. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten one of the key parts. They put me on Pitocin as well, because as I was getting so tired, my body like not stopped my contractions, but slowed them down. I think I was having like 2 in 10 minutes. Before I was having like 1 every 2 minutes, something like that. So yeah, they slowed right down, so they put me on the hormone drip, and they blew one here and they did another one here. And I don't remember that. I do not remember them putting that in. Like, and not, you think that would hurt, and then they meant to really hurt here, but I don't remember it whatsoever. I was like, yeah, just get on with it, just do what you gotta do. I was high as a kite, like, just do it. And so yeah, they've started me on Pitocin, and they also gave me these like glucose tablet, like sugar tablets basically, to give me more energy. I don't know whether it works or not, but they were tasty. They were so good. They were such good little like sweet things. I've still got them. I've still got them in my cupboard. So yeah, she was then born at 6:45, which is 15 minutes before my midwife's shift ended. She was finishing at 7 a.m. And she was like, you got to get this baby out before I end my shift. So yeah, we did. And we got her out, and she was placed straight onto me, and she basically cried straight away, and it was just the best day of my life. Hands down, the best day of my life, and I don't think anything will ever beat it unless I have another child, obviously, and that won't beat it, it won't even match it. It was just incredible. The whole experience, even though I know that I can still remember the pain. I couldn't describe the pain to you at all, but the whole feeling that I got from my birth was just overwhelming happiness. Like, I loved it, and I felt so proud of myself, because Matt said that I had asked a few times for the epidural, and then like changed my mind. I'm like, no, I can do this. I didn't want the epidural. That was one of my things. I didn't mind any other pain relief. I do not want an epidural. I wanted to leave that day. I wanted to go home. And we did. We went home. I think it was at 1 p.m. that day. So she was born at 6:45 and we were home by 1 p.m. I had a 2nd degree tear that was stitched up and it was all fine. I had a bath straight after. Just to clean up a bit, because you get real mucky, so I had a bath. That first wee, I didn't find it too bad, to be honest. It didn't really hurt. Yeah, I'll talk about my postpartum in another video. But yeah, like that first day afterwards, I didn't struggle with much. Obviously moving and sitting down was the hardest part for me, but I feel like I was just euphoric. Like, I was so happy with myself, the fact that Rosie was now here. I was so in love with Matt. Just everything just felt perfect, and I was so happy. So like I said, even though I remember the pain, the whole experience was just positive. Like, my midwives were amazing, the room was lovely, like, I didn't give up on myself. Yeah, I'm very happy with how my birth went. And like I said, if my next birth, I hope, if I have one, goes like that, I would not be mad. I'd happily do it again and again and again and again. I loved it. And like I said, we had like a family group chat with Matt updating everyone, and they were all like, hi Matt, we got another update for me. And that was so lovely to read back afterwards, because obviously I didn't look at it. And Matt, the things he said in there were just so heartwarming. Like, I still read them now. It's just, he is the best. And he was adamant he did not want to cut the cord. He was like, nope, I'm not cutting the cord. And I was like, please will you cut the cord? And when the moment came, he did it, and he was really happy with himself that he did it as well. So yeah, it was just amazing, absolutely amazing. And yeah, so I really hope that if you are getting induced, that you don't just watch the horror stories, listen to the positive stories, because they are out there and they can be just as amazing. I didn't particularly notice the difference with Pitocin, but like I said, I was loopy, I was out of it. But I feel like at that point, the contractions, when you are in the pushing stage, they're almost like relieving, because you had to push against the pain. And you're pushing and you're in pain for a reason. You're getting your baby earthside, and it's just the best feeling in the world. So yeah, I really hope that this helps someone who is maybe a little bit nervous, or if you're even excited about birth. But this is my positive induction story, and I really hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's not too long. I am sorry it was a bit all over the place, but I was remembering things as I was talking about them. Like I said, it was 15 months ago. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this here. Like I said, I will do a postpartum, how my the beginning of my postpartum period was, and I'm gonna also do a video explaining how I am now, talking about things like mental health since becoming a mum, bodily changes, sex life, like all the things that have changed since having Rosie. Not all negative, by far not all negative. So yeah, I hope you stick around for those videos. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment or subscribe, that would be amazing. I like to do lots of like days in our lives with Rosie, and yeah, just general random videos that I enjoy doing. This is all about me enjoying it. My partner, he is deployed for most of the rest of this year, so this is something fun for me to do. So yeah, stick around for it. I think we'll have a good time. I will probably insert a clip of Rosie so you actually know who this miracle girl is that I'm talking about. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye. Go on then, baby. Oh.